The first pre-release is out for Minecraft 1.21, signifying that from now on until release we should see mostly bug fixes going into the game. This pre-release buffs the maze, adds leashable boats, removes some functionality from the fire aspect enchantment, removes the recently added portal game rule, and fixes a whole lot of bugs. My name is Leashable and I'm here to show you all the news. Let's start with that game rule. Entities with passengers can use portals has been removed. Instead, the game now acts as if the game rule was turned on. This means that you will now be able to travel through portals when riding something without having to change any game rules. When riding, portal travel is still instant, skipping the portal delay. And throwing an ender pearl through a portal now works as you would expect. The pearl passes through the portal and continues flying on the other side. There are other portal-related fixes in this version as well, including a bug that could place you in the wrong place if you rode an entity through a portal, or this causing the game to break entirely. The changes in the previous snapshot caused the portal linking to change, especially as related to exactly which chunks around the target portal are loaded when an entity passes through another portal. These changes have now been reverted. For the end portal, the obsidian platform no longer deletes blocks when it is regenerated on entering the end. Those blocks now drop instead. Using an end gateway to get back to the central island now works even when there are no blocks around to land on. End crystals can now once again pass through the end portal, and primed TNT can now also go through end portals properly. Although, we'll get back to end crystal news later. And players no longer spawn floating one block above the platform when entering the end. Let's move on to gameplay, where a bug has been fixed causing wind charges to sometimes fail to prevent fall damage. Wind charges used close to an entity no longer pass straight through that entity, and they can no longer be used through corners. A wind charge or fireball that enters lava no longer makes a very loud noise. The attack speed of the maze has now been tweaked up to 0.6 from 0.5, which makes it possible to chain wind burst attacks with an enchanted maze. Boats can now be put on leads. This works both for regular boats and for chest boats, providing an easy way to bring all your plunder across the ocean. Yarr! Attributes on items no longer stop working when you switch them from your offhand into your main hand. Ender pearls now once again work when you are riding an entity. And being teleported by an ender pearl no longer plays the portal noise fades sound. Respawning was broken in the previous snapshot, with the spawn radius game rule not working and players sometimes respawning inside solid blocks. That is fixed in this version. Doors of any two different types can now form double doors when placed. The comparator output of a jukebox now once again remains when the music disc has finished playing. Breaking a carrot on a stick now gives an undamaged fishing rod once again. And the saddles with special data like a custom name no longer lose that data when equipped on a horse. Small and medium slimes now have the appropriate attack reach once again. And axolotls can no longer be attached to leads despite already being on a lead. In enchantment news, the new functionality added to fire aspect in the snapshot series, letting it be used to light certain blocks like candles and campfires, has been removed. This functionality will be refined further and then return in a future release. Enchantments affecting arrows of ranged weapons now once again work even if the weapon breaks while firing the arrow. Holding a crossbow enchanted with quick charge in each hand no longer makes both load twice as fast. And holding a trident enchanted with Riptide in each hand no longer doubles the strength of the Riptide effect. In news about the trial chambers, trial spawners no longer spawn the first mob with ominous trial equipment if they have just been switched from being ominous back to being regular trial spawners. And mobs that are despawned when a trial spawner becomes ominous no longer take items they've picked up with them into the void. Some fixes have also been made to structures in general that intersect aquifers and include waterloggable blocks. Those blocks would previously get waterlogged, which is especially noticeable with the copper grates in trial chambers and the ladders leading to the secret basement of igloos. In visual news, the models of moving entities and entities just loaded in are no longer sometimes offset. This was a long-standing bug that was sometimes visible on shulkers when arriving at an end city, or a minecart and its passenger that were already moving when they loaded in, which would often show up at the wrong location. In a fix for another long-standing bug, the Ender Dragon death animation no longer renders broken. Some fixes for visual bugs introduced in the latest snapshot as well. The enchantment glint now shows on enchanted items once again. Shields and banners with banner patterns are no longer rendered as entirely white on some systems. And chunks no longer sometimes have a large dark area hovering in the air. Some user interface fixes, including a whole lot of grammar fixes and other typo fixes. Some of the advancement headers with overlap in certain languages, which has been fixed in this version. Selection boxes on some screens were misaligned compared to their contents, which is now also fixed. The view bobbing setting is now available in the accessibility settings screen, and the narrator button in the accessibility settings screen now updates if you use the Ctrl+B shortcut to toggle the narrator. In news for servers, a number of new available generic link titles have been added. The new link titles are Announcements, Community, Community Guidelines, Feedback, Forums, News, Status, Support, and the Website. The report data generator now also generates a report with information about network packets. This version also contains a large number of stability fixes, including fixes for a crash when opening the Realms menu, the game failing to load resource packs with fonts on macOS systems, and more, as well as fixes for world upgrade issues. In addition, when an error occurs while loading or saving a chunk, a report will now be saved in the debug directory of the game's installation folder. There's a known issue in this version. End crystals blow up immediately when entering the end, when placed on the portal ring, or when encountering any type of fire. The datapack version has been updated to 46 with updates to enchantments, new options for structures, and a change to the newly introduced @n selector. If you're also interested in that, keep an eye out for a separate video about it here on the channel. But that's it for this one. My name is Slicetime, thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.